Vlogging with Spooky.
It's been a nice gloomy day outside, so I couldn't take the drone out to practice. I'm out there practicing and learning new stuff because there's so much. Every time I had her go around me, orbit, they do. There's like it would go 30 feet away from me, so I'm trying to be careful and learn to measure. So when I take it to all the fountains that are my favorite here in Connecticut, I'm not going to smash, crash it. So one of my favorite ones here in town, I'm going to orbit while I sit by the fountain, and it rotates around. I don't want to crash into the water, so I have to do it now while there's that they're not running. And there's one in downtown Hartford. There's one here. Actually, there's two. Hartford, back in the 70s, we used to have a lot of fountains, and I don't see too many of them anymore, but I think I run into about 6. Oh shit, it's snowing out. It's snowing so much I see it through the curtains. Okay. As I wanted to go to the abandoned I keep wanting to call it a factory. It's not a
one of my
store.
favorite places to dwell.
Church, because it was a furniture store first. And I remember getting off the highway, and then it turned into a church. Now this dead end road goes right to it, and just before I get there, on that same street, right across is where I got hit by a car. My daughters and I used to go out for walks like 4 or 5 miles every day. I walked every day 4 or 5 miles. And I think the longest I did was 8 miles. I went through East Hartford, and I hit Manchester. I didn't go into Manchester. I went like a few steps in, and then I turned around and went back home. I collapsed. I got dizzy, and I tripped on a cracked sidewalk, and I fell. And so I had to take the 5-pound weights off my ankles and limp all the way home. But I rested one day. The next day I was back out walking again. But I got hit there, and I go by there all the time because I videotape in that street. So it was me and my youngest daughter that got hit. My oldest daughter watched the guy went through the stop sign without looking. So gotta be careful because they don't look. They're in a hurry. Walk sign don't mean nothing. So, got a night going on today. I'm not doing nothing today. You can hear the front loader going. Autumn's been very sick. He had a seizure a few days ago, and he throws up every day. And yeah, he's getting up there in age, and I don't know what I'm going to do if anything happens to him. Not taking him to Humane Society, and I'm not doing that. I'm not putting him down. And so I try to make things comfortable for him. That's why I got the fountain, and I bought him a bed, but it's a big pumpkin, a big jack-o'-lantern, because he's a pumpkin. But he won't go in it, and so it's not big enough. It was supposed to be bigger than that, but So he's going to be my last cat. I'm not doing this anymore. Too hard to say goodbye. And if that ain't bad enough, the church that collapsed, New London. I've been around that area and exploring. It's snowing hard out there. The snowflakes are big. I'd go over there. But I'm very sad about it. Like, I don't know why it's affecting me like it is, but to watch that steeple go down like that, and to look at, doesn't it kind of remind you of 9/11? There was smoke everywhere. You hear the sirens and everything. That just reminds me of that day, because I remember it was a beautiful day, and I remember I had to go to the high school for my daughter. I think I had to drop her off. She missed a bus or something, and then I remember coming home and sitting watching The Floor Model, and put on the news and everything, and then all of a sudden you see all this. And I couldn't believe it, what I was hearing, because I was up there in the Twin Towers on a school trip with Melissa. We got stuck on the top floor in the elevator, and it was a bad experience, that right there. The people were very, very rude, and the kids were scared, because we're on the top floor. I remember looking out the window, and New York looked like a map. You could see the Statue of Liberty and everything. We did all that, Ellis Island, all of it. So when my grandfather came from Italy back in 1910, he went through Ellis Island as a little boy. So it was just very sad. It hurts me. So back to the drone. So I'm trying to learn how to do it manually. I know I wanted to go up higher because I wanted to show the roof and the entire area on the drone, because it goes up different levels. My drone goes up to 50 feet. Because those aren't the drones. It's a drone, but it's a lot of on YouTube. Just a few men said that it's not a drone. It's a selfie cam, flying camera. No, it's a drone. It's a drone. All drones take videos and pictures. So I don't know what you're talking about. So X to that. This one, it does drone stuff. You could manually do it, but it's already pre-programmed. And so I wanted to get the roof, and I got pretty close to it, but I have forgotten my mics. I've had this for a couple of years now. And I forgot it. And I had another one, but this is wireless. The other one, the first one that I got a few years back, has a little fuzzy, like a coat, like a fur coat, to protect it from wind. So if you're out and it's windy, it's going to keep the wind from messing up the audio. So I've been dealing with stuff like this since the 70s. My uncle had a camera back in the 50s, and I got one in the late 70s, because I was always into that, pictures, and we got that in Railroad Salvage back in the day. And then I got a camcorder, and I remember going into the stores with it, and they was escorted. They didn't make me leave the store, but they told me to stop videotaping. But I have footage. I have footage from the 80s and 90s. I took it to Showcase Cinema, the movie theater they tore down. I took it there one time with the girls and I in a snowstorm. And I have pictures. I have pictures. Thousands of pictures. I even have pictures from back in the day when my grandmother rode a horse and buggy. And I have pictures. I have pictures of my mother when she tap danced and performed in the Bushnell Auditorium here in Hartford. I have pictures of all that. Unfortunately, when I went to Puerto Rico in 1975, my mother went through my room and emptied it out. She's like that. And so she had threw out all my magazines from Casper the Friendly Ghost and Little Audrey, all the in the garbage, Spooky. And, but she didn't get my monster books. I don't know where I put them, but she threw away all the pictures from when my grandfather came from Italy with his brother and sister, and they had two brothers. It's very sad, because I'm into that. So I'm checking out this drone. I got to do the 50 feet. I'm dreading that though. I'm scared. So, 50 feet is pretty high. I did 25 at the old furniture store. I did 25. That was 25 feet. So imagine twice of that. But I'm trying to do it where I can get the whole land, because it's right by the highway, and get all that. I would never go there at night. You can't use the drone at nighttime. It doesn't have night vision. But there are a lot of coyotes out there, so you have to go be careful for that.
Turkeys.
One time I was going down that street at night, and a deer was crossing over, heading toward the highway, which was horrifying because, you get killed, So I just went out there real quick to see the snow, and so I'm still practicing. I'm practicing a place where it's safe, and before I start taking it places, and so I know what I'm doing, and I'm more confident about it. I'm a lot more confident with
Part 2.
And so I know what I'm doing, and I'm more confident about it. I'm a lot more confident with it, though I still kind of shake a little bit. That's why you're not seeing me looking happy. Because I look at the videos, I say, I'm not looking happy. You know, I'm really concentrating and focusing on what I'm doing, because there's a lot to learn of heights, and it goes around me, orbits 30 feet. So I got to make sure there's room. It's not going to hit the lamps or the trees or anything. So I did 5 feet, and then I did, what was the second one? 8 feet. I think it was. There's quite a few of them. And then you want to get the right angle, so it's either vertical or updated your effects and stuff. So, which was really good, because a lot of people say we do TikToks and we need it to go the other way. So, and then it twirls when it's up in the air, you know, and it does stuff like that. So it goes lower to the ground. You can videotape, or because there's a church on the street that has my family's name on it. They've donated money to that church back in the 1800s. And I went to go see it, one of the church windows, and so I want to use my drone on that, but I want to make sure I know what I'm doing, because that's a very busy street, and I don't want to hit something. And you know, that's why when I flip it over, you flip the drone over and it'll turn off, because it's like that's emergency, just in case you hit the wrong button, or what something happened and you just got to shut it down. You just flip it over. So if you see me doing it, that's what I'm doing. So, and I have a selfie stick that's real long, like a fishing pole, and I used to use that behind me or get my wheels and stuff like that. So now I have a drone that could do it. A big long selfie stick, so I don't have to use that anymore. I'm using an old selfie stick that I used to use on my camera when they first came out. We went to the Showcase Cinema. It was a Bandit, 2010, and I'm holding it right now. It's for a camera, not a phone. They didn't have them for phones yet. So I like stuff like that, gadgets. Yeah, so man, yesterday I was going to go out and mess with the drone a bit, but just thinking about all the layers of things I got to put on, like I have to put these thermal pants on, out in the elements. I got a vest and sweats and a hoodie that goes over all that. You should see me struggling trying to get that on. And then I look like Miss Snowman out there with these huge hoodies. I bought them 3 times big my size, so I can fit other garments underneath to keep warm, because I don't wear winter coats anymore. I'm just so done with winter coats. I used to go to downtown Hartford on a bus so I could take my wheelchair with me and videotape stuff, you know, where they used to have movie theaters. And yeah, the lady was talking about the collapsing of the Civic Center. I remember that. And so, you know, going to the North End a little bit, not too much. But they have a lot of old buildings. People used to live there with stores and apartments and everything. It's all torn down. They're just all, for me, Hartford is just a shell of a place, you know, and the buildings falling down, like the church. We had 2 buildings that fell down on Park Street. They just collapsed with people in them. They're old. They're too old. I talk about it all the time. They either burn down, fall down, or get torn down. They're just old. And I don't never like living in apartment buildings because of that. You know, my mother didn't like it either. And we lived off when we lived off Park Street on Squire Street. We lived on the 1st floor, then we went to the 3rd floor, and then those things can crumble down anytime. So I'm looking forward to spring and a bit of summer, because I hate the heat. And so I don't have to wear all the layers and layers of I just sent away for those pants that have, fleece inside and stuff. Snow pants are like $300. That's crazy, so I have to layer myself in pants and hoodies and vests, and so I'm warm out there, because sometimes it's so bad I have to turn around and go home, and the chair dies, and I don't want to be trapped. That happened to me already when I lost my pink wheelchair. So, and this chair here is a nightmare, so I have to be careful when I go out there.
Spooky.
So I guess it's the year of truth telling. Well, I was ahead of my time, telling the truth and shaming the devil. I see a lot of people that are under depression. I see a lot of TikToks and people are crying and talking about depression. Depression is evil spirits and people being tormented by evil spirits. And me being an empath, which I say I'm a good healer about peace, you know, and I may not heal your bones, I may not heal your aches and pains, but I know how to heal the mind, and I'm a true healer in that. And so I feel like depression and all that, they're evil spirits, and they torment you. They get in your head. That's why I say don't go by your thoughts and stuff, because they'll fuck you up. You know, you'll end it. And I've seen a lot of that, you know. I mean, I knew a few people who went to the North State Hospital when it was open, okay, for the criminally insane. I went there and explored it, which I would like to be taking my drone over there. And so, you know, I've been there like quite a few times, videotaping. So you'll see clips and stuff of that. I even went to go see the Dulos that they're talking about, Jennifer Farber Dulos and the murder over there. I went over to the mansion. I went to go see his. Hers is much further away, but we were going to a doctor's appointment in Farmington, so we stopped by the mansion where that man, I mean, I can't help it. I'm an empath and I have psychic abilities, and I just fucking I could read it, man. It's like, you might as well just say it, because I know he murdered her. I knew that from day one. But when you see a person where they left flowers and cards and they left teddy bears and stuffed animals, they left candles for this woman by the mansion, and he went out there and it was on the news. He grabbed all that stuff and put it in the garbage, and he was so angry. That's a bad sign. That's a red flag of somebody who, narcissists don't love you. They control you. And that was a setup from the beginning. Okay. Every one of those kids get thousands of dollars. No, millions. And if he has them, he gets that money. And so when I listen to the story, I hear it. So people out there, and you know, he ended his life because he knew he was going to jail. I could see that in court in his face. I could read it. He knew. And when he committed suicide, that was validation for me that I was right. So depression and all that, it's evil spirits, and you're being tormented. And it's not easy fighting that, but it's not impossible.